Hello, Aries. How are you? This is your reading for the week of March 23rd. Happy Aries season and happy birthday to all the Aries that celebrate this week, like myself. So Mars moved into Pisces on the 22nd, which is going to color this Aries season a different color. We also have Mercury in its shadow period, which will be going retrograde on April 1st in Aries. And we have an eclipse, the first of two eclipses affecting our sign on the 25th, my birthday. Solidarity for everyone else out there on that day. A full moon, penumbral lunar eclipse in Libra, affecting anyone with planets at from 0 to, let's say, 9 Aries, and also Libra. So this Aries season is going to be a little bit different than the Aries seasons that we've had in the past, and particularly with the Mars in Pisces there. And so the best advice that I can give you for facing it is to flow. This is not a good time to push, especially because we don't have all the information yet. Eclipses change things. Mercury retrograde changes how we see things, and they're all happening in our sign while the North Node is there. So this is not a time to make decisions because you don't have all the information yet. You will have all the information by the end of April, which is great because then the end of April, Mars moves into Aries, and that's when we're going to really see the push forward. So this may be frustrating to hear, excuse me, but the way you can manifest, this is not a time for like active manifesting or intentioning or whatever. This is a time to observe what's happening, take note, and then make decisions and actions towards the end of April. So that's the best advice I can give you about how to face this very anomalous, once in a lifetime Aries season. Let's see what the cards have to say. So can I get the overall energy for the week of March 23rd? Overall energy for the Aries. Okay, so remember a couple weeks ago, we got a reading that said don't give up. That is 100% still valid. I did a couple of readings for my members for the month of April, and I looked at what's coming in. It's good. But before you can move forward, you have to release, you have to heal, you have to make decisions. So this is a time right now, like I said, don't give up hope. What you want is there. There are just pieces that need to be moved, things that need to clear your life, things that need to clear your energy. And there's a lot of there's a lot of karma happening right now and a lot of karmic healing. Remember, we also, the eclipse on the 8th of April is conjunct Chiron. So that is, there's a lot of healing to be had here. And so on top of the advice to not push forward right now, also focus on releasing wounds from the past, releasing things that are causing you to not be happy in your life. And I feel like this period is really going to be about understanding. You see how she's whispering in her ear? About understanding why things aren't necessarily there yet, or understanding what needs to change in order to make this shift into a life you love. But so if you're feeling down right now, and I've gotten a lot of requests for readings, if you're feeling down, you are not alone. The Pisces energy has been very tough this season, and with Mars moving into Pisces, that's not going to help. Do not give up. Don't take your party dress off. It just needs a minute. Okay, and that minute is going to be towards the end of April when Mars moves into Aries, and it will conjunct the North Node. That's kind of like the big culmination moment. Right now, we are releasing, we are healing, we are understanding. Yeah, and the challenge is that you want to move forward and feel the light and feel the fun. And I think this came out last week too. And you're having a hard time feeling that, right? See how they're both like sort of dressed up to the nines, and this is the challenge energy. So there's a challenge in feeling this lightness and this freeness that you want to, that we always feel in the Aries season. And you're like, I'm all dressed up, I'm ready. Like, what? Why can't I run? Eclipses, retrogrades, remember, everything happens for a reason. This is a time to observe, flow, pay attention, take note, see what's in your way, but do not, I know it's not what you wanted, but it is what you need. And what you want is there, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, don't get discouraged. Just understand that this process, I mean, manifesting during eclipses is impossible anyway, because you have no idea what's going to happen. They are surprises, things you cannot predict. And we have two of them in our signs. We have the North Node in our sign. We have Chiron in our sign. We have this Mercury retrograde in our sign. There is a lot happening, but it is a lot happening to get you to a deeper understanding, right? You don't want to move forward with a bad plan. And so this is like perfecting the plan time. Okay, so these two cards came out for the lesson here. We have peace and empowerment, right? Think about going on a trip, right? Or a trip to a place that's so, I live in Europe, right? So if I go to any other European nation, I'm relatively comfortable. I don't need to do my research. I know the customs, I know the habits, I know where, like, how the trains work, et cetera, et cetera. I'm traveling to Asia, to a country I've never been to, and I had to study. I had to do a lot of work. Like, how do the trains run? How does the money work? Is this going to work? Is that going to work? That gathering of information, I could go and wing it, but I would have had whatever time I had it. Like, I wanted to do certain things, and in order to do that, there was a process. Now that I'm like empowered with that knowledge, full moon here, so this is that full moon eclipse, bringing a sense of empowerment, it leads to peace, right? Because you're comfortable in knowing you've done the work, you now understand what has to happen. And so there is a peace through empowerment. Yes, it's a little control freaky, but that's how we are. So let me read these to you. So the empowerment card says, you have so many strengths, and yet you allow others to take away your power. When your words are dismissed, when your actions are mocked, your light fades because you don't stand up to be counted. You may say silently to yourself that everything is fine, that you know the real truth, but the universe requires you to stamp your authority so that you can grow fully into the wise one that you truly are. Grow fully into, right? So it talks about a process. By working with the element of fire to purge any fears that hold you back, you're more able to step fully into your power. Okay, so that's the process that's happening right now. The purging of the fears, the purging of the wounds. But in order to purge them, you have to see them first. And so that's kind of why they're being brought up right now. That's what this whole Pisces, this heavy Pisces has been with the stellium in there, and now Mars. It's really about healing. Okay, and then the peace card says it's a time for quiet reflection, to be still. The peace you crave requires you to slow down and to take time out. Give yourself a chance to be silent in order to hear the loving messages of angels' whispers, to feel spirit rest upon your head, and to open your heart to appreciate the beauty around you. Be still, breathe, go deep into the sanctuary within. Once you've convalesced, which is the word from healing. Convalescence is healing time. Once you've convalesced in tranquility, you will see everything with new eyes and achieve a sense of peace in every moment. So these are both happening, that there's a process of knowledge gaining to achieve wisdom, right? To achieve empowerment, to see where the blocks are. And in order to do that, there is a required moment of stillness. And you see both of these have that full moon behind her. There is information coming in at this full moon and throughout the process of Mercury retrograde that is going to show you where the silent blocks are in your life that come from past wounds, that come from things that didn't heal. But even so, and then once you see them, you need time to grieve, to process, right? My daughter's leaving for college. I'm very happy about that. Like, I love that. But there's a grieving process that's required before I can just jump into my next chapter, right? Of what my life is going to look like. And so that's kind of, there's a healing that happens. And while the healing is happening, there's information coming in about what the future looks like. But right now is really a time to shore up your energy, to solidify your energy, because there's going to be a lot of energy coming at us in the next month with all of these, and it's internalized energy. It's not the kind we like, which is the externalized. That's going to happen more in April. Right? I mean, we've been getting those, like, the last reading I think was filled with 4s. And I said, like, April's really the month. All right, 3 cards for the week of the 23rd, please. Deck is quiet. 3 cards for the week of the 23rd, please. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, there you go. Righty said. Transformation, things shifting, right? We don't know where this is all about, moving from one dimension to another. And there is like a shiny little gate here that he's walking towards, but there is a process that's in place of transformation, also of allowing. Of course, it wouldn't have been a reading if it wasn't on the floor. Okay, Queen of Wands, right? Transformation into power. But you see, this is a very still, calm, quiet, powerful queen here. And that's what it's moving towards. But there is still some evolution in the process. One more card, please. Yeah, I'll take both. Okay, so we have 5 of Wands. There we go. Conflict. This is conflict. It's fighting for what you believe in. It's conflict from like around children, childish things that happen in childhood, childish games that people have played with you, or where there's like an engaging in battles that have, that just don't have a victor, right? However, where do things end up at the world, right? So this is what I said. This could also be internal battles, right? Dealing with things internally, or really working out, I think, more conflicts with childish dynamics, conflicts where we are not showing up as our most empowered self, things that make us regress into an earlier form of empowered fire, right? There's 2 different kinds of fire. It can be like this, like I'll fight with anybody and everybody. Or there's this, which is like, I'm going to pick my battles. The battles I pick are important. and meaningful, and I come at them with the energy of a queen. But the two things that are flanked here, the cards that flank this whole reading, the Death card and then the World, right? So progression, moving up, cycles, transformation, cycles ending, things shifting. We're just in the middle of a process right now. Oh, sorry. Of course, they're going to cut the flowers now. Let me try and get this out quickly. All right. All right. So the message is all the same. Saraswati, mastery. This is a 9. This is the ending of cycles. And actually, I would invite you all to, hold on. I got to close that door. I can't concentrate. Okay, I would invite you all to learn what number year you are in. How do you calculate that? You take your birth month, so it's either going to be a 3 or a 4, and then you take the day. You reduce those to a single number. So mine is 325. So that's 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 5 is 10. So 1. And then add on the current year, 2023. So 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 3 is 7. Sorry, why did I say 2023? 2024. I'm like literally in a different time zone. Okay, yeah, because I was like, I'm not in an 8 year, I'm in a 9 year. So 2024, 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. I am in a 9-year cycle. I know I'm in my 9 year of the 9-year cycle. I know by getting that fact that this is not a year I'm going to start anything new. Next year is, but this is a year for me to tie up loose ends. So do investigate which personal year you are in to understand what kind of energy you have, and how you can work with that the best. If you are in your 9 year, it is about having mastered a cycle and getting ready to start a new one. If you are in a different year, either way, the energy on the table is about moving from one type of wand to another. And see, she has this instrument there that is what she plays as a master, this one, right? So there's a little bit of training here, and it may be that you're like being called to conflict, to practice, so that when you get to this stage, like all these little conflicts are, even though they're frustrating and you're like, I'm done with training day, not quite yet. There's still something that needs to happen. There's still some information that you are missing. Let this eclipse season do what it needs to do, the retrograde do what it needs to do, and I think you're going to find yourself in a very different place by the end of April. All right, let's read what this says. It says, mastery is a genuine sense of effortless knowledge after a period of dedicated immersion. The Hindu goddess Saraswati asks you to enter her domain of art, language, knowledge, music, and poetry and make this commitment to go the distance. So that's the second time we've heard that message of don't give up, go the distance, commit. Immerse yourself, body, mind, and spirit in discovering all aspects of what is at hand, right? Second time we said that. Go within, discover. This is a moment of discovery and observation. Learn and then learn more. Right now, if you adopt the role of apprentice, okay, so that's also what this is about. If you adopt the role of apprentice and are willing to devote your heart and mind to something, you will become a true master. So you may be going back to school, you may have gotten the call, you may get the call that actually what you thought you wanted to do, you want to do something different, right? And so you have to go back to school and learn about it. Or you may realize that there's a skill that only you can bring that will make you shine even more, that will give you the peace of being an empowered person in that field. There is something here where you can go back and learn more to fully embody your mastery. Deep wisdom knows only continuous learning. No matter what questions you've come to explore, the goddess Saraswati reminds you that the pursuit of mastery is never ending. So enjoy every minute of it, right? And maybe like you're starting to see that like all the shitty relationships that you had that were filled with childish games have now made you a queen who is not going to accept anything less than what you are worth. Or you realize that like working with children or whatever has made you ready to take on a professor role. There's lots of it can be any scenario, or you put in training as a sous chef and now you're ready to start your own thing. This talks about completing a cycle of mastery, and it comes through information, it comes through learning, it comes through self-awareness, and transformation. There is a shift. There is a very clear shift. So lots of energy here, lots of different messages. But like I said, don't push, go within, listen to yourself, listen to what the messages that are coming from at this full moon. If there's something that like strikes at your heart that you've always wanted to do, but it requires more knowledge, investigate learning. But there is a transformation that is in act, which is very close to coming to a head. And I know you want to jump into it. You're ready, but you're not yet, right? Because you don't know the full story. We can't know this full story until both eclipses have happened and until that Mercury goes direct again. So right now, gather that information, take the class if you need to take the class, draw a list of everything that you've learned that has made you a bigger, better, wiser person, and observe how you have evolved over the last 18 years, and be very conscious of how you would like to evolve over the next 18 years. And if there's any healing that needs to happen or any releasing that needs to happen from childish conflicts, from things that happened in childhood, now is the time to do so. Okay? Hope this was helpful. Wishing you a great week. Again, happy birthday to all my Aries, and I will see you at the next reading.